From the Opubco Studios in Oklahoma City, you're watching The Press Row. We're brought to you by Papa John's Pizza. You can go online right now and order your pizza at papajohns.com. I'm Jenny Carlson. He's Barry Trammell. We're going to do a little inbox segment, your email questions answered here on video. Let's start it off with Sam. He says, how can someone, Clint Chelf, win a starting job the final 5 or so games of 2012 plus workouts through the spring and summer, only to lose it after 6 plays in the first game of the season? And obviously this question comes back up because now it looks like Clint Chelf is once again the OSU starter.
Well, first of all, Clint did not win the job last season. It was attrition. Wes Lunt, J.W. Walsh both get hurt. Clint Chelf, next man up. Played well, so when the other guys got healthy, they kept Clint in. He played very solid down the stretch. So he didn't actually win the job last year. And I would say that in the spring and summer, he did not win the job. I think it's pretty clear that the OSU coaches wanted J.W. Walsh to be the quarterback and selected J.W. Walsh to be the quarterback. For whatever reason, they decided to start Chelf but moved to Walsh early in the Mississippi State game. I think it would have taken an unbelievable performance down in Houston by Clint Chelf to retain that job. I think that was a mistake by Mike Gundy. I don't know why you're playing politics and sort of funny games with the quarterback job. If J.W. Walsh was the man, start him. I think that's where the mistake was made. So I don't think Clint actually won that job. I think now he's got the opportunity to win that job.
This just in, Mike Gundy doesn't always handle starting quarterback issues the greatest. So leave it at that. But I don't think he won that job either in the spring or summer. I think that it was J.W. Walsh, and J.W. Walsh then lost that job. Just did not have enough ability throwing the ball. I think they felt like what they saw in the spring and the summer, his throwing was improved enough that they would go with him. But as the season went on, you just saw that inconsistency. A guy that now holds the record for best throwing percentage in a game can't seem to throw it straight, loses his job, and that's why we see Clint Chelf back behind center for the Cowboys. Back to the inbox. This one comes from Rich. He says, got a nickname for Steven Adams. How does Kid Kiwi sound to you? A little nod to his Land Down Under.
Sounds like an Elvis movie to me. I'm not crazy about it. I don't know. I think we come up with. I think we could find something better than Kid Kiwi. I'm open to suggestions, but that one doesn't do it too much for me. He doesn't strike me as a kid. I mean, I know he's only 20, but he looks like a rough and tumble type fella. So I'm not buying yet on Kid Kiwi.
Crocodile Dundee.
The Crocodile, you could get me on Crocodile.
All right, we're starting to get some momentum. Send those ideas. We got to come up with something because this guy's gonna play.
Yeah,
that's all.
He definitely is.
All right, back to the inbox. This one from Fitz. He says, "Do you suppose Bob Stoops will make another Brennan Clay out of Keith Ford and waste a year or two by sitting him on the bench for fumbling a couple times?" Wow, some pessimism among OU fans.
A couple of things. First of all, the idea that Brennan Clay was misused by Bob Stoops and didn't get to play enough early in his career. Brennan Clay, through 2.5 seasons, was perhaps the least productive OU tailback in history. I blogged about it. We had the data. He had the fewest yards per carry of anybody in OU football history. So the question for Brennan Clay for 2.5 years is not why he was playing so little. It was why was he playing so much? So bad example with Brennan Clay. But the other thing now, and in Brennan's behalf, he's turned into an excellent ball player. He's been very good the last year and a half. So he's really made a nice career for himself. But here's the deal on Keith Ford. He's the tailback of the future. He's going to have a great career. But I don't think he's head and shoulders above the OU tailbacks right now. In fact, I would say Damian Williams remains their best tailback, in my opinion. I don't see why you would elevate Keith Ford over these other 3 guys when he's got a fumbling problem. In fact, it's a perfect situation for a teaching moment. You got productive guys that can play. If Keith Ford's not going to hang on to the ball, you show him where you play if you're a fumbler. You sit on the bench. So I think Stoops is handling this tailback situation properly.
Yeah, I had somebody email me and say, quarterbacks fumble and, you don't see them losing their jobs. Well, here's the deal. Quarterback handles the ball every snap of the game. So if they fumble twice in 4 games, what are they fumbling? Twice in 300-something snaps of the ball that they handle the ball. That's a pretty good batting average. But Keith Ford's carried the ball 9 times the last 2 games, fumbled once, fumbled before that. His batting average, not very good right now. And they got to get that beat out of him. They cannot have him putting the ball on the ground that much, because if he's turning it over that many times for that many carries and he becomes the feature back, they got a big time problem. All right, back to the inbox one last time. Dallas has the question for us. Funny, but had Bob Stoops hired Art Briles to replace Mike Leach instead of Leach hiring Briles first, there's no telling where OU, Texas Tech, Houston, and others might be right now, Barry.
Well, that's completely true. And if OU had hired Nick Saban in December of 1998, there's no telling where Alabama and OU and Texas and anybody else would be. This is a little bit of a reach for me. Art Briles in 1998, 1999 was the head coach at Stephenville High School. Mike Leach did not hire Art Briles to be the offensive coordinator at Tech. He was named the running backs coach, spent 3 or 4 years in Lubbock, then became head coach at Houston U. Bob Stoops was in the market for an offensive coordinator. He hired a good one. He hired Leach, who changed the face of football in this part of the country. We all have to agree, an excellent hire. You can't go looking second guessing a decision like that.
Well, and then he hires to replace Leach, Mark Mangino, who, like all offensive coordinators at OU, criticized for a lot of things, but he won a national championship, for crying out loud. Get them to some other high-ranking BCS bowl games before he goes off to be a head coach. So sure, you can second guess a lot of dominoes, but what if Joe Castiglione doesn't hire Bob Stoops and goes with, I don't know, what's another option? There's all sorts of games you can play when it comes to coaches. Art Briles has become a good one, but it took some time, and I don't think they were going to hire him into that job right away. It would have been a bit of a stretch. All right, be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoma.